Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Dhena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Sarasatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Bhavayat Yesha Satvena Lokan Vai Lokabhavanaha Lilavataranurato Devatiryan Naradishu. Let's look at the word for word. Bhavayati, maintains. Eshaha, all these. Satvena, in the mode of goodness. Lokan, all over the universe. Vai, generally. Lokabhavanaha, the master of all the universes. Leela, pastimes. Avatara, incarnation. Anurataha, assuming the role. Deva, the demigods. Tiryak, lower animals. Nara Adishu, in the midst of human beings. Translation. Thus the Lord of the universes maintains all planets inhabited by demigods, men, and lower animals. Assuming the roles of incarnations, he performs pastimes to reclaim those in the mode of pure goodness. Purport. There are innumerable material universes, and in each and every universe there are innumerable planets inhabited by different grades of living entities in different modes of nature. The Lord, Vishnu, incarnates himself in each and every one of them and in each and every type of living society. He manifests his transcendental pastimes amongst them just to create the desire to go back to Godhead. The Lord does not change his original transcendental position, but he appears to be differently manifested according to the particular time, circumstances, and society. First line is, there are innumerable material universes, and in each and every universe there are innumerable planets inhabited by different grades of living entities in different modes of material nature. So let's hear some relevant verses that either give a description of this or extend the idea from Shastra, please. Yes, go ahead. Please pass out the mics. Go ahead.
Yasya prabhava prabhavata jagadanda koti kotisvashesha vasudhadi vibhuti binnam tat niskalam anam brahmam ananto ashesham govindam adi purusham bhajam.
Yes, yasya prabha prabhavato jagadan. Put it up, please. Let's start. Put it up. Yasya prabha prabhavato jagadanda koti kotisvashesha vasudhadi vibhuti binnam tad brahma nishkalam anantam ashesha bhutam govindamari purusham dhamaham bhajami. Defend your choice. First tell us what it means before it gets up there.
By whose influence billions of material universes are created. Vibhuti means like his Vasudha Vibhuti, like his energy, his influence. I cannot actually explain the whole.
You're doing fine, just keep going.
Jasya Vasudha, Jasya Prabhava Prabhavata Jagadanda Kotim. So Jagadanda means like the eggs of the universe, by whose influence, by whose Vibhuti, all the eggs of the universes are manifested in innumerable universes, like from whom that Govinda, I meditate upon that primeval God Govinda.
Okay. So at 540, let's look at the word for word. Yasya, of whom? And who's that referring to? Everyone say Govinda. Govinda. Prabha, the effulgence. Prabhavataha, of one who excels in power. Jagadanda, of universes. Koti kotishu, in millions and millions. Ashesha, unlimited. Vasudha Adi, with planets and other manifestations. Vibhuti, with opulences. Bindam, becoming variegated. Tat, that. Brahma, Brahman. Nishkalam, without parts. Anantam, unlimited. Ashesha Bhutam, being complete. Govindam, Govinda. Adipurusham, the original person. Tam, him. Aham, I. Bhajami, worship. Okay, translation is, I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, whose effulgence is the source of the non-differentiated Brahman mentioned in the Upanishads. Being differentiated from the infinity of glories of the mundane universe appears as the indivisible, infinite, limitless truth. Purport. The mundane universe created by Maya is one of the infinite external manifestations accommodating space, time, and gross things. The impersonal aspect of Godhead, the non-differentiated Brahman, is far above this principle of mundane creation. But even the non-differentiated Brahman is only the external effulgence emanating from the boundary wall of the transcendental realm of Vaikuntha, displaying the triquadrantal glory of Govinda. The non-differentiated Brahman is indivisible. Hence, it is also one without a second, and is the infinite and residual entity. Back to the purport, please. The original purport. There are innumerable material universes, and in each and every universe there are innumerable planets inhabited by different grades of living entities in different modes of nature. Other thoughts about the first line? Related verses? There are innumerable material universes, and in each and every universe there are innumerable planets inhabited by different grades of living entities and different modes of nature. We have a pundit in the front row. He's dominating. Go ahead.
In Sri Brahma Samhita also it is said, Ekopasya rachaitam jagadanda gatim jatshaktirasti jagadanda chaya yadantam andantarasta paramana chayantarastam govindam adipurusham tamam bhajam.
Everybody. Ekopyasora chatitum jagadanda kotim yatshaktirasti jagadanda chaya yadantaha andantarasta paramanu chayantarastam govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Translation. He is an undifferentiated entity, as there is no distinction between potency and the possessor thereof. In his work of creation of millions of worlds, his potency remains inseparable. All the universes exist in him, and he is present in his fullness in every one of the atoms that are scattered throughout the universe at one and the same time. Such is the primeval Lord whom I adore. Purport. Krishna is the highest of all entities. In him is an entity which is termed Chit, spiritual, which is distinct from the principle of limitation. By his inconceivable power, he can at will create numberless universes. All the mundane universes owe their origin to the transformation of his external potency. Again, his abode is beyond human conception, since all worlds, limited and spiritual, Chit, exist in him, and he resides simultaneously in his fullness and entirety in all the atoms in all the worlds. All pervasiveness is only a localized aspect of the majesty of Krishna, the Lord of all. Though he is all-pervasive, yet in his existence everywhere in a medium shape consists his spiritual lordship beyond human conception. This argument favors the doctrine of simultaneous inconceivable distinction and non-distinction, and knocks down the contaminating Mayavad and other alienated doctrines. Why did you gravitate towards this verse? Tell us what made it come into your mind.
Yeah, because even
Hold that right next to your lips.
Even though he is one, but he creates innumerable universes which are also complete. Like I can relate this verse to the first verse of ISO.Upanishad.
Okay, let somebody else recite it. Who will recite the invocation to the ISO.Upanishad, please? Okay, in the back, all the way in the back. How many mics do we have out here? One? Okay. Go for it, please.
Purnam Madaha Purnam.
Again, hear the first Om. Can you start over, please?
Purnam
Om Purnam. Start.
Om Purnam Madaha Purnam Idam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate.
Everyone. Om Purnam Matak Purnam Idam Purnat Purnam Udachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Translation. The personality of Godhead is perfect and complete, and because He is completely perfect, all emanations from Him, such as this phenomenal world, are perfectly equipped as complete wholes. Whatever is produced of the complete whole is also complete in itself. Because He is a complete whole, even though so many complete units emanate from Him, He remains the complete balance. Purport. The complete whole, or the supreme absolute truth, is the complete personality of Godhead. Realization of impersonal Brahman, or of Paramatma, the Supersoul, is incomplete realization of the absolute complete. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is Sakchit Ananda Vigraha. Realization of impersonal Brahman is realization of His Sat feature, or His aspect of eternity, and Paramatma realization is realization of His Sat and Chit features, His aspects of eternity and knowledge. But realization of the personality of Godhead is realization of all the transcendental features, Sat, Chit, and Ananda, bliss. When one realizes the Supreme Person, he realizes these aspects of the Absolute Truth in their completeness. Vigraha means form. Thus, the complete whole is not formless. If He were formless, or if He were less than His creation in any other way, He would not be complete. The complete whole must contain everything, both within and beyond our experience. Otherwise, He cannot be complete. The complete whole, the personality of Godhead, has immense potencies, all of which are as complete as He is. Thus, this phenomenal world is also complete in itself. The 24 elements of which this material universe is a temporary manifestation are arranged to produce everything necessary for the maintenance and subsistence of this universe. No other unit in the universe need make an extraneous effort to try to maintain the universe. The universe functions on its own time scale, which is fixed by the energy of the complete whole. And when that schedule is completed, this temporary manifestation will be annihilated by the complete arrangement of the complete whole. All facilities are given to the small complete units, namely the living beings, to enable them to realize the complete whole. All forms of incompleteness are experienced due to incomplete knowledge of the complete whole. The human form of life is a complete manifestation of the consciousness of the living being, and it is obtained after evolving through 8,400,000 species of life in the cycle of birth and death. If in this human life of full consciousness the living entity does not realize his completeness in relation to the complete whole, he loses the chance to realize his completeness and is again put into the evolutionary cycle by the law of material nature. Because we do not know that there is a complete arrangement in nature for our maintenance, we make efforts to utilize the resources of nature to create a so-called complete life of sense enjoyment. Because the living entity cannot enjoy the life of the senses without being dovetailed with a complete whole, the misleading life of sense enjoyment is illusion. The hand of a body is a complete unit only as long as it is attached to the complete body. When the hand is severed from the body, it may appear like a hand, but it actually has none of the potencies of a hand. Similarly, living beings are part and parcel of the complete whole, and if they are severed from the complete whole, the illusory representation of completeness cannot fully satisfy them. The completeness of human life can be realized only when one engages in the service of the complete whole. All services in this world, whether social, political, communal, international, or even interplanetary, will remain incomplete until they are dovetailed with the complete whole. When everything is dovetailed with the complete whole, the attached parts and parcels also become complete in themselves. Back to the purport, please. There are innumerable material universes, and in each and every universe there are innumerable planets inhabited by different grades of living entities in different modes of nature. So somebody, besides Koladvipa, tell us which 3 verses we've invoked so far to elaborate on this particular sentence. Okay, Priya Kishori. Yes, why not? You're on now. Say something.
Hare Krishna.
More. Ramananda, we need more volume out here, more juice.
Hare Krishna. Yasya prabha jagadanda koti Kotishvashesha vasudari vibhuti binnam Tad brahma nishkalam anantam ashesha bhutam Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami.
There's a recall in that mic. Can you take that mic back, fix it or something?
Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Jagadanda Koti Ekopi Saurachaitum Jagadanda Koti Kotishvashesha Vasudadi Vibhuti Binnam Tad Brahma Nishkalam Anantam Ashesha Bhutam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami.
Now somebody else give a summary of what those 3 verses mean and how it relates to the first sentence, please. But quick, we don't have a lot of time. Somebody? Navina. Navina's practically, you're on Bhaktivedanta now? No, you're on Bhakti Sarvabhauma or something. He whiles away his time diving deep into Prabhupada's books and studying. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So all these verses are focusing on the all-pervasiveness, how the Lord is pervading all the universes and even every atom. And He's present in His impersonal feature as Brahman. He's the sustainer, He's the complete whole, everything rests upon Him. And all things emanate from Him. Still, even though so many complete wholes emanate, He's still the complete absolute truth, undivided and unfragmented and never lacking anything.
Thank you very much. Now somebody else say what that means to us in the practical execution of our life. Feel free. Please, everyone relax. Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. We're just having a spiritual discussion here. Please open your minds and hearts and just talk. Don't get all hung up on stuff. Go ahead.
Yeah. This it is said in the words like within every universe there is a Govindas, Supreme Personality of Godhead, and in a purport Prabhupada gave the example of how the hand is separate from the body. It looks like a hand, but it is not a complete hand. Similarly, this universe, if you feel like it's separate from the Supreme Personality, then it's not a, the case. Like it is connected with Supreme Personality of God, and we are living within the universe. So in that way, we are also connected to the Supreme Personality of God.
Okay, thank you for bringing the analogies and bring it a little closer to home. We want to know why this is helpful to us. Why we, how does it affect your life, this information, practically? Reveal something from your heart in your life.
I was just thinking how sometimes in the busy lives we think that we don't have anybody else because everybody has their own work to do. And by the force of time, nobody will be able to just focus on us all the time. When we are young, our parents are there to look after us, but there will be a time when we have to live by ourselves. But because when we don't have that maturity in times of difficulties, we become depressed and lonely and stressed because then we feel that nobody else cares for me. But having this spiritual knowledge that God is everywhere and He's there when I suffer lonely also, and He's within me and I'm connected to Him. And that knowledge is the only thing that will help us to overcome all these shortcomings and painful situations. So I was just thinking that these verses.
Have you had such an experience? Can you relate to us a time in your life when you've felt the presence of the all-pervading overseer and permitter?
I can give this example of like when Priya was in the hospital. Nobody was there, like she doesn't even know where she is and what's happening to her, and I was there just next to her, and nobody to talk, and my parents are sick and I can't get guidance from them. My husband is already on the plane, I can't contact him, and I can't even tell Priya what's going on because she's in her own kind of unconscious state. So I had to go deep and think that Krishna will do what he wants to do. Because the government called me and they're telling that somebody is sick in your home for fever for 7 days, so we want to come and check cleanliness in your home. So I thought like maybe she will go away. They are not telling me, but they are telling the government because so many people have passed away like that, just like that. So that was like, this knowledge is what, like I had to say prayers and go back to the basics. So that's one situation.
You were able to take shelter of...
Take deep shelter at that time.
That's very nice, thank you. Yes, behind you.
Hare Krishna. So from this verse, we can see that we have the single source. So we all came from one source. So it gives this sense of unity and see everybody as we are brothers and sisters. It's like in the family when like you feel like from the beginning you feel that these people, your brothers and sisters, they are closer to you than anybody else, especially in the childhood. So that gives the same feeling. Also, we may seem like differently from outside, but this knowledge gives understanding that we are united and we have the single source, so we have the same qualities.
Have you had such an experience? A feeling of unity, and if so, when was it? Incident?
I'm trying it very hard. But to see, like every time reminding myself, or like eventually we are from the same source, we have the same nature, and like trying to like introspect in myself, what would I feel in this situation or something, and it helps to understand each other as people. It's hard.
So you use it practically in your life?
Yeah, you should like trying to remind every time.
Okay, thank you very much. Very helpful. Shraddha?
I was thinking that about Jad Bharat, when he had the realization that there is a soul in everything, he was very careful about walking and not stepping over them. Then this knowledge that Krishna is there in everything is even more powerful. So that knowledge will help us be respectful to everything which is around us, which will include pollution, those kind of things. And I was thinking that in my home, my parents were very particular about respecting even inanimate objects, like don't shut the door by kicking it, use your hands and things like that. And I notice here we do a lot, like open the fridge and use the feet, or dishwasher, close it with the foot and things like that. So once you get that knowledge that there is Krishna, then you'll be more careful. And as you're careful of that, then you'll be thinking about Krishna all the time.
Very practical. Yes, when traveling, I saw a brahmachari, and he was putting the seats out on the floor, the asanas for devotees to sit in, and he was kicking them across the floor. Of course, I was a visitor there, so I didn't feel liberty to chastise anybody or instruct, but I thought I'd bring it to the airwaves when I come home. It was Prabhupada instructed us don't move things with our feet also. And it helps to maintain a level of consciousness, even to this day, since I learned it when I was a brahmachari. If I'm cleaning my room or something like that, I don't push the wastebasket across the floor with my foot so I can get the broom closer or something like that. And it engenders a kind of universal consciousness, awareness of the sacredness of all things connected to Krishna. Thank you. That was very practical. Could we see was somebody else waiting to go? I want to look at the sentence again, please. Yes.
Just in connection with the hand analogy which Prabhu spoke, and it was in the purport. So this last week, I think, I'm coming to temple after 7 days, I think, at least 7 days. So that's a long time. So I was thinking how the connection is so necessary. I feel such a lot of relief after coming here and seeing everybody. So I don't know, that thought came to my mind.
And I was more than 2 weeks.
So yeah, that connection and association is so important to keep us alive and keep going.
Yes. Thank you. Sugeshwari? Somebody bring that microphone to Ramananda and see what we can do. Go ahead.
Hi, Hare Krishna Prabhu. So happy to be back. So I was just thinking about the point that you...
Did you just get back today? Yesterday?
About a couple of days ago.
Okay, welcome back. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. So I was just thinking that,
you look like you've been in the Dham. Is that true?
Yeah.
You were in the Dham.
With Krishna's mercy.
I can tell. You have a kind of, both of you you look very effulgent. Of course, you always look effulgent, but this is kind of special. Okay, go ahead.
So I was just thinking that, as Mataji was mentioning, that there are many situations practically in our lives that we have anxiety or anything. Anything that happens, then the first thing that comes in my mind, just because we are reading Srila Prabhupada's books and taking association of devotees, is Krishna is the controller. I have nothing in my hands. That makes you feel totally relaxed, no stress, because you're not doing anything. You just feel you're doing it. So I just wanted to add that.
Yeah, it's a good point. Last week I was in London, and we had a seminar at Soho, which is downtown London. It's actually right in the middle of the activity there. We all walked, there were 75 of us, and we all walked down to the Leicester Square to have book distribution in Harinam. And I've distributed books there a long time ago. I remember Oxford Street being a little tough. These kinds of things stick in one's mind. And then, of course, when you're there as a teacher of book distribution, everyone's looking at you for some magic. Because that happens wherever I go, because people, okay, let's see the magic now. And I'm looking at Krishna going, yeah, let's see the magic. And just walking out the door, there's an exhilaration that now what's going to happen. And it engenders a complete dependence on Krishna. And it's important in all of one's services to stay in that zone of complete dependence on Krishna at every moment, to feel akinchana, that I don't have any qualification. And this is the main platform for connection to Krishna, is to be fully aware that we're only instruments for Him, and that it's not our own power. It's power coming through Krishna, and we have to remain in constant prayer and a feeling of dependence in order to connect to that. The severed hand is quite an image, isn't it? severed hand. And the way to reconnect is through this service, the attitude of service, and remembering that I'm completely dependent, only acting as an instrument. Okay, so let's look again. There are innumerable material universes, which is a revelation unto itself. Hardly does one think of even this universe in the course of the day here in Silicon Valley, because my mind may be absorbed in thinking of, name 3 things. I'm talking about ordinary people, not you. I know you're always thinking of Krishna, but how one may be, not even be aware that one is within one of the innumerable universes. Where else might one's mind become absorbed in everyday life here in Silicon Valley? In WhatsApp? Okay, CNN. Okay, so these are information sources. There are a lot of information sources that are bringing very specific kind of information to us, and I might be absorbed in that. What else? Work. Can you say more about work? And the kinds of consciousness that work creates in your life.
Especially when you have a deadline to meet, and there are pressures from the upper management. So you will also think back of your mind that you have to finish this work. Even if you are in vacation or in weekend holidays, you have to think like, when I can go back and work start.
Yes. So information sources, and then we have obligations to my particular work according to my career. What else? Kids? Any kids in here? Let's hear from the kids. What kind of things are you all thinking about? I mean, besides Krishna 24 hours a day, what other ways in which can you become distracted?
Oh, yeah, school and homework.
What about school and homework? What's it like?
Not fun.
What's not fun about it?
Doing work.
So, do you sit in a classroom?
Yeah.
How many people are in there?
About 30.
30. Paint a picture for us, just like we're looking there and see what it looks like. Go ahead.
So there are like 30 students.
Walk in the door. What kind of door is it?
It has a number on it, and then it's.
What's the number?
25.
25. Okay, go ahead. Keep taking us in.
And then you open the door, and then you see a huge whiteboard, and then our teacher is sitting on his chair, and he has a laser pointer, and he points at everything, including the.
Okay. Hold that a little closer.
And then there are 30 students sitting on each, there are these things that are desks and chairs, but they're attached. So
You can't move them.
Yeah, so you can't move them.
Like prison, kind of. Okay.
And you just listen to whatever he says.
And is there any social pressure? When you walk in the room, do you think about, what do I look like compared to the other students?
Kind of.
Objective is kind of.
Yeah.
A lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of okay, let's hear from you. What's your day like? Just give us some details. We're interested in details.
How's the classroom?
My classroom? Well, there...
Do you go to a village? Is there a little straw hut? With a sadhu sitting inside?
No.
No?
Not about.
What's it look like?
There's like a door, and it says our teacher's name on it. And then when we open the door, we see these like gigantic tables, and there's a smart board that doesn't really work. And the teacher talks about stuff.
Okay. So everyone else, thank you very much. More? You have more? I was feeling a little traumatized just hearing about school, so I had to interrupt you. So we do move around the world, and we may not be aware that we're within one of the innumerable material universes. I may be absorbed elsewhere. I may be looking at the number on the door and thinking, oh, I have homework to do, I didn't quite finish it. What are the other students going to think? I got dressed in the dark and I put 2 different things on. I might be thinking about projects at work. How am I going to, am I going to maintain my work in this place? I'm going to move somewhere else. There are so many ways in which one can become absorbed. Abhinibheshita. This is called bhayam dvitiya abhinibheshita, means being absorbed in those things that are separate from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I'm not considering my connection to Him. I'm not considering that He's observing everything that I'm doing, that He's within every atom, that His effulgence is maintaining the universe that I'm within. And I heard, it was very reassuring to hear that when one remembers this, there's a modicum of peace in one's life. You feel unity with others and so forth. So there's a great benefit to remembering Krishna. And therefore, the Bhagavatam says all our fear, anxiety, problems come from being absorbed in those things that are separated from Krishna. Bhayam dvitiya. The dvitiya means the second thing. There is no second thing. There's only one thing. That's Krishna. But bhayam dvitiya binipeshata syad. Syad means fear arises when I become aware of something that's separate from Krishna. That's called maya or illusion. Which verse in the Bhagavatam substantiates this? That which is separate, that which is seen as separate from Krishna is called Maya. Which verse says that? I'll give you a hint. It's one of the most important verses in the whole Bhagavatam. It occurs in the 2nd canto. It's Krishna speaking to Brahma. Need I say more? And it's part of the Chaturshloki Bhagavatam. Please recite it. Okay, give it to Shraddha. She's got at least part of the verse. That's all right. Part, you get eternal credit for part.
Rite ritam yat pratyeta na pratyeta chatmani. And then tad vidyat atmano mayam yata bhaso yata tamaha.
Let's give her a big round for it. Courage, learning means you got to put yourself out there. It's like people don't learn languages oftentimes because they're afraid to make mistakes. They just hold back. They don't actually say the language. They keep reverting to their original language. I've read in studies recently about how those who are inventive and they try to somehow or other move forward with the piece together the knowledge that they have without feeling inadequate, just doing the best that they can. They tend to be able to piece everything together. And also I read an article that says it's okay to forget things because forgetfulness is part of the process of building your memory. You remember something, then you forget it, then you remember it again. It keeps building on that part of your brain that is holding that concept. So I'll say, please repeat. Ritirtam yat pratyeta na pratyeta chatmani Tadvidyat atmano mayam yata baso yata tamaha. Translation. O Brahma, whatever appears to be of any value, if it is without relation to me, has no reality. Know it is my illusory energy, that reflection which appears to be in darkness. So, in the Adi Lila, we have Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. What is the first chapter of the Adi Lila called? Spiritual Masters, correct. And do you remember that within this chapter, Kaviraj Goswami quotes the Chaturshloki Bhagavatam? Did you remember that? Yes or no? No. Okay. Here is, he quotes it at text 54. That's Adi Lila, text number 54, chapter 1. In the previous verse, the Absolute Truth and its nature have been explained. One must also understand the relative truth to actually know the Absolute Truth. So, this is called Siddhanta, which means not just knowing what something is, but also what it isn't, or knowing all the different aspects. The relative truth, which is called Maya, or material nature, is explained here. Maya has no independent existence. One who is less intelligent is captivated by the wonderful activities of Maya, but he doesn't understand that behind these activities is the direction of the Supreme Lord. In the Bhagavad Gita 9.10 it is said, Maya dakshena prakriti suyate sacharacharam. The material nature is working and producing moving and non-moving beings only by the supervision of Krishna. Supervision of who? Krishna. The real nature of Maya, or the illusory energy of the material manifestation, is clearly explained in Srimad Bhagavatam. The Absolute Truth is substance, and the relative truth depends upon its relationship with the Absolute for its existence. Maya means energy. Therefore, the relative truth is explained to be the energy of the Absolute Truth. Since it is difficult to understand the distinction between the absolute and relative truths, an analogy can be given for clarification. The Absolute Truth can be compared to the sun, which is appreciated in terms of two relative truths, reflection and darkness. Darkness is the absence of sunshine, and a reflection is a projection of sunlight into darkness. Neither darkness nor reflection has an independent existence. Darkness comes when the sunshine is blocked. For example, if one stands facing the sun, his back will be in darkness. Since darkness stands in the absence of the sun, it is therefore relative to the sun. The spiritual world is compared to the real sunshine, and the material world is compared to the dark regions where the sun is not visible. When the material manifestation appears very wonderful, this is due to a perverted reflection of the supreme sunshine, the Absolute Truth, as confirmed in the Vedanta Sutra. Confirm, what is it from the Vedanta Sutra, please? Which verse is it referring to? Okay, go ahead and say it, please. Give him a microphone. Please be willing to blurt things out and go down in flames. Go ahead.
Maybe the first verse, which it says that Janmadhyasya yata, everything is emanated from the Supreme Lord.
That's a revelation, isn't it? That's the first verse. This can solve all of one's problems, as we're discussing here. If one remembers that everything emanates from the Absolute Truth. Where in the Bhagavad Gita does Krishna say that those who realize this fact, that everything emanates from him, engage in his loving service? Go ahead, somebody wants to try. Try it and try to make mistakes. Fail forward fast and learn.
Yo mam evam samudo janati parshottama sa sarvad bhajanti mam sarvabhyana bharata.
Very inventive. Give him a hand. That's not it though. Can we see it? Close. Okay, translation please. Whoever knows me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead without doubting is the knower of everything. He therefore engages himself in full devotional service, O son of Bharata. Right on target. How did you remember that? Tell us how and why you remembered that.
Today morning, when I was reading this verse, I was thinking this is the verse which is, if one understands Krishna is the Lord, and who understands this part, then he doesn't need to know anything else.
Oh, there it is.
And you asked the same thing.
What's that?
You asked the same thing today. I was just thinking there's something something happening. I have no idea.
Fantastic. This is a great verse. Let's look at the purport. Now we're intrigued, right? There are many philosophical speculations about the constitutional position of the living entities and the Supreme Absolute Truth. Now in this verse, the Supreme Personality of Godhead clearly explains that anyone who knows Lord Krishna to be the Supreme Person is actually the knower of everything. The imperfect knower goes on simply speculating about the Absolute Truth, but the perfect knower, without wasting his valuable time, engages directly in Krishna consciousness, the devotional service of the Supreme Lord. Throughout the whole of Bhagavad Gita, this fact is being stressed at every step. And still, there are so many stubborn commentators on Bhagavad Gita who consider the Supreme Absolute Truth and the living entities to be one and the same. On the way over here, we read that there are as many interpretations of Bhagavad Gita as there are erudite scholars in the world. Prabhupada writes that. Vedic knowledge is called, Vedic knowledge is called Shruti, learning by oral reception. One should actually receive the Vedic message from authorities like Krishna and his representatives. Here Krishna distinguishes everything very nicely, and one should hear from this source. Simply to hear like the hogs is not sufficient. One must be able to understand from the authorities. It is not that one should simply speculate academically. One should submissively hear from Bhagavad Gita and these living entities, that these living entities are always subordinate to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Anyone who is able to understand this, according to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, knows the purpose of the Vedas. No one else knows the purpose of the Vedas. The word bhajati is very significant. In many places, the word bhajati is expressed in relationship with the service of the Supreme Lord. If a person is engaged in full Krishna consciousness in the devotional service of the Lord, it is to be understood that he has understood all the Vedic knowledge. In the Vaishnava Parampara, it is said that if one is engaged in the devotional service of Krishna, then there is no need for any other spiritual process for understanding the Supreme Absolute Truth. In the Vaishnava Parampara, it is said that if one is engaged in the devotional service of Krishna, then there is no need for any other spiritual process for understanding the Absolute Truth. Verse, please. Suggest a verse. Koladipa Pandit, Prabhu. Go ahead.
Hare Krishna. Tyakta sadharma charanambuj harer bhajan apakahata patitatta yadi koba artha abuddha avushukim koba ahaptaho avachataha sadharmata. If somebody takes up the devotional service and he doesn't do any kind of like sadharma, any kind of activities based on the varnashram, then he doesn't feel any loss. But if somebody takes all kind of activities other than devotional service, what he will get ultimately? Something.
Let's ask our judges if they'll accept that. Navina, you like it? He likes it. Okay. Another verse? These are important verses because we need permission to direct our minds towards thinking of Krishna, doing devotional service. The mind may branch out in many different ways and think that in order to be sustained, I must perform many other activities. Does Krishna say that in the Bhagavad Gita? That the mind can become many-branched? Where does he say that? Rasika, you want to give her a microphone? Let's hear it.
Vyavasayatmika buddhi ekeha kurunandana bahushaka yanantascha buddhayo avyavasayina.
Give us a general meaning of the verse. What it means to us.
Like with one-pointed attention, we should perform devotional service. For people whose goal is irresolute, their mind goes in different directions.
Different directions, right? Yeah. And how many different directions?
Countless.
According to the verse.
Bahushakai.
He anantas, unlimited ways. Unlimited. There's no limit to how the combinations and permutations of the way the mind will enter into the modes of material nature and slice and dice it in different ways to try to put it back together again and contemplate the material world. So this verse saying, just focus your mind on the service. Now somebody tell us a little bit of how this particular verse that Rasika Shiromani just recited is particularly meaningful to us because of our intimate connection with our founder Acharya, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and Priya Kishori's hand just went up really fast. Go ahead. Mike, it's coming.
So in the verse that Mataji just mentioned, it said that one should focus one's mind single-pointedly. So therefore, because though there may be so many processes mentioned in all the Vedic scriptures which are directed towards people of various kinds of consciousness, Prabhupada has given us a process, Srila Prabhupada has given us a process in which there's one method of devotional service if we follow single-pointedly, that we will be able to achieve the ultimate goal of life, and there's no need to distract.
Very good general principle. I want something more specific. But before we do, I want Shraddha to quote a verse from first canto, second chapter, that in which we're advised to focus our mind exclusively on devotional service.
It's verse number 14. Tasmad ekena manasa bhagavan satvatam patihi shrotavya kirtitavyascha deha pujasya nityada. So it says that therefore with a single pointed attention, and one should focus on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the protector of the devotees.
Thank you very much. And who is ready to give us something more specific about the meaning of this verse in relationship with our founder Acharya? Yes.
I think that verse Prabhupada mentions that one-pointed attention means surrendering to the instruction of spiritual master and making it the goal of one's life. So that's a one-pointed attention.
Okay, somebody wants to say more?
Prabhupada, when he heard this, when he was reading the commentary of Vishwanath Thakur, where he says that one should take up the instructions of spiritual master as one's life and soul, in the commentary related to this.
Do we have that commentary? Bukhar Vind, do we have the commentary of Vishwanath Thakur on the Bhagavad Gita in here, in our library? No, it's not here. Okay. By satisfaction of the spiritual master, the Supreme Personality of God becomes satisfied, and by not satisfying the spiritual master, there is no chance of being promoted to the plane of Krishna consciousness. I should therefore meditate and pray for his mercy 3 times a day, and offer my respectful obeisance on him, my spiritual master. Yes, so Prabhupada had a specific revelation about connecting with the order of the spiritual master in this verse. And remembering that is very sweet, actually. And you can see as well that Prabhupada had success all over the world, and he attributed that success to adhering to the order of the spiritual master. So, could we go back to the purport, please? Okay, here it is. I'm sorry. One should accept the instruction of the bona fide spiritual master as one's mission in life. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur instructs us in his famous prayers for the spiritual master. Yes. So that connection is there. Now take us back to where we were, please. Because I don't remember. In the Vaishnava Parampara, it is said that if one is engaged in the devotional service of Krishna, then there is no need for any other spiritual process for understanding the Supreme Absolute Truth. I was also thinking, you have another one.
I was thinking was Savai Pumsam Paro Dharma, Ito Bhakti Rajbakshi, Ahitukiya Pratihata, Yatma Suprasidati.
Explain it.
So your one-pointed attention, when devotional service should be unmotivated, uninterrupted. The purpose is basically just to please Krishna.
And what happens then, according to the verse?
Then you will be completely satisfied.
Yes, the only way it's completely satisfied the self. That's compelling evidence from the Shastra for giving oneself fully to serving Krishna. The 9 methods of devotional service. Also we had evidence that Shraddha gave, first canto, 2nd chapter, 14th verse, that said, therefore, tasmad ekena manasa. Ekena manasa, the mind should be fixed in one place. Bhagavan sattva tampati, on Krishna, Bhagavan. Shrotavya, how to do it. Shrotavya kirtitavyascha dhyeya pujascha nityada. The various methods of devotional service. Feel free to be fully absorbed in devotional service, and you'll feel the satisfaction from yourself. Yes?
Hare Krishna. I was remembering the verse 647 regarding this.
Which came?
Yoginam api sarvasam mat katenata ratmana sraddhavan bhajate yomam shame yukta mata. So it says that of all the yogis, those who abide in me and offer me transcendental loving devotional service, they are the best. So of all the yoga systems are actually for realizing the supreme truth, the Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, but among them the Lord says the Bhakti Yogis, they are the best, who does the loving devotional service.
Very good. Excellent quotation. I like it very much. And now, before we move on to the purport, somebody who hasn't spoken very much so far, give us a summary of what we've spoken about this morning so far. Jump in. Feel free to fail forward fast and learn. Somebody just give a summary. You don't have to remember the whole thing, but something. And as you'll notice, if you leap, then the net will appear. Just try and be an instrument and let Krishna, don't get in your mind, just depend on Krishna and try to do the best you can, and you'll notice that Krishna will make up, he'll enter into your mind and heart, and he'll assist you into giving this summary. So if somebody hasn't offered anything yet, raise your hand and give it a try. When I say 3, 1, 2, 3, there he is, right back there. Give him the microphone.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Give him a hand for being so brave.
Please excuse, me because I'm a beginner, I don't know so much Sanskrit, but I'll try to summarize the whole discussion today. So everything that is around, we see, what we don't see, everything is Krishna. Everything comes from Krishna, everything is controlled by Krishna, and every cause and effect is Krishna. Krishna permeates everything, and that's in summary what we discussed. And Maya, which is also an external energy of Krishna, is also part of him. It's the relative truth which is connected to the absolute truth. So even though through Maya also we can understand Krishna. And the best way to reach the ultimate goal of life is through devotional service. There are many processes, but the ultimate and the most beneficial way to reach liberation is through devotional service. And how to do devotional service is to follow a spiritual master, right? Follow his instructions. And follow that with one pointed focus, without diverting your mind, and without letting anything else affect you, and taking refuge in Krishna all the time. Thank you.
See what happens?
Hare Krishna.
See, if you set up a temple and you make a space for hearing and chanting, then sages float in from different places, unbeknownst to us. Thank you very much. That was very helpful. So we're continuing on our purport from the Sri Caitanya.Caritamrta, I believe. Is that right? When the material manifestation appears very wonderful, this is due to a perverted reflection of the supreme sunshine, the absolute truth, as confirmed in the Vedanta Sutra. That's where we were. Athato.brahma.jijnyasa. Whatever one can see here has its substance in the absolute. As darkness is situated far away from the sun, so the material world is also far away from the spiritual world. As darkness is situated far away from the sun, so the material world is also far away from the spiritual world. The Vedic literature directs us not to be captivated by the dark regions, tamaha, but to try to reach the shining regions of the Absolute, yogitam. Everyone say yogitam. Yogitam. Where are we going? Yogitam. The spiritual world is brightly illuminated, but the material world is wrapped in darkness. In the material world, sunshine, moonshine, or different kinds of artificial light are required to dispel darkness, especially at night. For by nature, the material world is dark. Therefore, the Supreme Lord has arranged for sunshine and moonshine. But in his abode, as described in the Bhagavad Gita 15:6, there is no necessity for lighting by sunshine, moonshine, or electricity because everything is self-effulgent. Verse, please. Everyone ready? Together? Na tat basayate suryo na shashanko na pavagaha yad gatva na nivartante tadama paramamama. That which is relative, temporary, and far away from the absolute truth is called maya, or ignorance. This illusion is exhibited in two ways, as explained in the Bhagavad Gita. The inferior illusion is inert matter, and the superior illusion is the living entity. The living entities are called illusory in this context only because they are implicated in the illusory structures and activities of the material world. Actually, the living entities are not illusory, for they are parts of the superior energy of the Supreme Lord and do not have to be covered by Maya if they do not want to be so. That's big news, by the way, so I'm going to say it again. Actually, the living entities are not illusory, for they are parts of the superior energy of the Supreme Lord and do not have to be covered by Maya if they do not want to be so. The actions of the living entities in the spiritual kingdom are not illusory. They are the actual eternal activities of liberated souls. Now, there's a definite process through which one comes to the absolute truth. Of course, in the Sri Caitanya.Caritamrta, which is a postgraduate study of the Srimad Bhagavatam, which for those who have appreciated the Bhagavad Gita and then who have relished Srimad Bhagavatam and continue to relish it, there's no other book in the world that's as deeply satisfying to read as the Sri Caitanya.Caritamrta. Because, first of all, it's a garland of the verses from the Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. What I particularly appreciate is when we hear the teachings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, for instance, when he teaches Sanatana Goswami. And we hear him quoting verses from the Bhagavad Gita. For instance, what are some of the verses that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally, from his lotus mouth, quoted to Srila Sanatana Goswami from the Bhagavad Gita? Can you remember one or two? This is, you know the section, right? Sanatana Shiksha from the Caitanya.Caritamrta. It's in the Madhya Lila. Yes. And that whole section starts off with explaining how Sanatana Goswami escapes from his government job. He is at home, and he's employed dozens of Brahmins. I mean, what a lifestyle that is. And invite all these learned pundits to your house. I guess maybe that was the equivalent back then of having a Veda base. And there he stayed absorbed all day long in hearing about Krishna and hearing and chanting. Can that be done? Can one absorb oneself in hearing about Krishna for long periods of time and chanting Hare Krishna? Is that possible? Yes? Yeah. So that's what he was doing, and then how did he get out of work? He called in sick. Has anybody ever done that? Turn the camera off for a second. Has anybody ever done that to come to Janmashtami? Yeah, okay. I hear devotees do it all the time when I'm traveling. It's like, how are you getting the day off? It's like, oh, I'm working right now. So yeah, he was home hearing and chanting. What an impetus in life when one comes to this understanding. Tasmad ekena manasa bhagavan sattvatam vati shrotavya kirtitavyascha dhyeya pujas nityada. That with one pointed attention, Bhagavatam said it, therefore I'm going to take this and I'm going to direct all my energy that I have as a little living entity, I'm going to direct it towards hearing about Krishna. And then there's reciprocation. One feels this reciprocation from Krishna from within the heart. And so Prabhupada describes one of my favorite verses and purports here in the Adi Lila. Prabhupada quotes from the Bhagavad Gita, and he's describing, actually, this is in verse number 49, Adi Lila, chapter 1, 49. This chapter is describing the spiritual masters, and Kaviraj Goswami chronicles, lists the various ways in which Krishna assists us. So he's talking about the spiritual masters. So where are those spiritual masters that he lists here? Name some of them. You're about to say? What are the different kinds of gurus?
Cow, father, mother.
Oh, okay.
Is it that one you're asking?
No, but not particularly, but I very much appreciated what you said. I was referring to the first chapter where he says, Vande
Shiksha
Guru.
and Diksha Guru.
Okay, so there's Shiksha. What kind of Shiksha gurus are there?
One who gives knowledge.
What? Go ahead.
One who gives knowledge.
Yeah, one who gives knowledge. So in this first chapter, we notice that who's Chintamani, by the way? Is one of the gurus of the most famous Bilva Mangal Thakur? Who was Chintamani? Prostitute. That's a prostitute. It was his girlfriend. And he used to go see her all the time. And she changed his life. How did she do that? She said, "What are you doing? You're wasting so much time." He said, "Don't look around. This is nonsense, really, what you're doing." He said, you should, if you gave this much energy, the kind of affection you show to me and the impetus you have to come to see me, which is inordinate, then if you gave that, even a fraction of that, to worshiping Krishna, then you'd really have something. And then what happened? Changed his life. He changed his mind. So he honors her in his writings. He says, Chintamani, what kind of guru is she? Vardhamana Paradakshika Guru, the kind that shows you the path in the first place. And then there's, you name Shiksha Gurus. There's many gurus that give instruction. Then Diksha Guru, one who gives what? And what does that mean? Giving what? The mantra. Give the mantra. And so, which is more important? The Shiksha or the Diksha Guru? Which is more important, the one who plants the seed or the one who waters it? Okay, so in this verse, which is verse number 49, Prabhupada quotes from, oh look, you put that up there, let's read it. All glories to Chintamani and my initiating spiritual master Somagiri. All glories to my instructing spiritual master, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who wears peacock feathers in his crown. Under the shade of his lotus feet, which are like desire trees, Jaya Shri Radharani enjoys the transcendental mellow of an eternal consort. Now looking at 49, this is a verse quoted. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam enamam upayanti te. To those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. Purport. This verse of the Bhagavad Gita 10.10 clearly states how Govindadev instructs his bona fide devotee. The Lord declares that by enlightenment in theistic knowledge, he awards attachment for him to those who constantly engage in his transcendental loving service. This awakening of divine consciousness enthralls a devotee, look up the word enthralled, please, who thus relishes his eternal transcendental mellow. Such an awakening is awarded only to those convinced by devotional service about the transcendental nature of the personality of Godhead. They know that the supreme truth, the all-spiritual and all-powerful person, is one without a second and has fully transcendental senses. He is the fountainhead of all emanations. Such pure devotees, always merged in knowledge of Krishna and absorbed in Krishna consciousness, exchange thoughts and realizations as great scientists exchange their views and discuss the results of their research in scientific academies. Such exchanges of thoughts in regard to Krishna give pleasure to the Lord, who therefore favors such devotees with all enlightenment. And this kind of exchange goes on with devotees. This is mentioned by Krishna himself in the Bhagavad Gita where? 10th chapter, correct. What's verse? Okay, give her she's ready to go.
Machita madgata prana bodhayantas parasparam katayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha.
Now break it down for us. Give us some word for word without looking on the board.
Like my I can give the meaning. I don't know if my devotees are always conversing about me and talking about me, and they always talk about me, and that's how they get happy.
It's interesting, right? Katayantascha mam nityam. Their katha is what kind of katha?
About Krishna.
That's the best kind of katha, right? What's the other kind of kathas?
Gramya katha.
What's Gramya katha?
Gossip.
What is it?
Gossip.
What does it mean, Gramya katha? Facebook. Well, there's a lot of good things on Facebook. What else what does Gramya katha mean?
Not related to
Village talk. What's village talk mean? Who did what to whom, when, how, things like that? Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah, Krishna says this is what the devotees do. Tushyanti cha ramanti cha. They get satisfaction and they feel bliss, getting together and talking. And here, in this last sentence of the purport that we just looked at from the Adi Leela, first chapter, and the last sentence from the purport we were just looking at before we looked at this one. I was just seeing if you're listening. He says, such exchanges of thoughts in regard to Krishna give pleasure to the Lord, who therefore favors such devotees with all enlightenment. So there's a synergy. When the devotees come together to talk about Krishna and discuss his activities and philosophy, then he favors those devotees with enlightenment. He's there within the heart. He participates. Shrinvatam swa kata Krishna, punya shravana kirtana, hridyantaksto hibadrani vidunoti suhritsatam. Lord Sri Krishna, who is the Paramatma, the super soul in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truth of a devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who relishes his messages, which are in themselves when properly heard and chanted. Yeah. So if you properly hear and chant, you come together and properly hear and chant, Krishna helps you to remove. So he favors the devotees with all enlightenment by this process. And what does it mean to be enthralled, Shraddha?
So enthrall is a verb which means capture the fascinating attention of. For example, she had been so enthralled by the adventure that she hardly noticed the cold.
Wow. And where does it come from?
It comes from late Middle English in the sense of enslave, and also from enthrall, which is in as an intensifier, and then the word thrall. And the word thrall is actually the state of being in someone's power or having great power over someone. For example, she was enthralled to her abusive husband.
Okay.
Slave, a servant, or captive.
Slave and the thrall. So who wants to extend the metaphor a little bit? Let's give it to the kids. Extrapolate. Feel free to, it's just a conversation. Just be normal. What did you get out of that definition? What did you hear in the definition of enthrall that sounded interesting?
It means like you're you're enjoying that moment, or like it's a verb.
Have you ever been in a situation where you were so absorbed in enjoying the moment that you didn't notice other things that were going on?
Yeah.
Can you remember something like that?
A lot of times in the kirtan, I enjoy it a lot.
Yeah. So, anything else from the definition? Want to hear it again? The meaning of the word.
So enthrall is a verb that means capture the fascinated attention of someone. Also used as in the sense of slave or enslave. So the word enthrall, the N comes or in comes from as a used like an intensifier, and the other word was thrall, which is the state of being in someone's power or having great power over someone.
Can you relate something from Krishna's Leela about devotees being enthralled?
Oh yeah, so
yes.
When Krishna was lifting up the Govardhan, I think the devotees forgot about all the storms that Indra was doing, and they were just happy that they could associate with Krishna.
Yeah, that's a good point. Krishna arranged that because the devotees had been praying to be with Krishna, and they all have different relationships with him, so Krishna can meet the different devotees at different times of the day. For instance, he's with Yashoda, especially in the morning time. She's getting him ready for the day, bathing him, feeding him, dressing him, and very happy to be with him. Then he leaves for the house. In the Bhagavatam, there's an extended description of how she goes after him about 6, 7, 8 times to ask if he's got his lunch, to warn him about not getting into the sticker bushes, which actually weren't sticker bushes. He was sneaking out at night and getting scratched by his girlfriends. And all kinds of ways in which. And then the cowherd boys are with him when? In the daytime. He goes out in the forest with them, and then he's with them, and then in the village, everybody's waiting for him to come back. There's a description in the Bhagavatam when Krishna comes back in the afternoon, everyone sees a dark cloud. What is that dark cloud coming that makes them happy? So dust of the hooves of the calves and cows, and they become very happy because they see Krishna's coming back. All day long, they've been enthralled thinking about when's Krishna going to come back. And when he finally comes back, then he's with his family again. And what about at night? After he comes back and supposedly goes to sleep, then what happens? He sneaks out. Does he ever sleep? Not really. Vrindavan is the town that never sleeps. And so he goes out and he plays with his girlfriends at night, comes back. So in Govardhan, that's the time when he lifted Govardhan Hill, and all the devotees were with him at the same time. And Krishna's exchanging love through his various relationships, in his various relationships with the devotees all simultaneously. For how many days? Does that constitute being enthralled? Say yes in the microphone.
Yes.
Thank you very much. There's evidence. So, yes, Shraddha was going to say something.
I was also thinking about the last verse in Shikshastakam, where it says, he can do anything that he wants to do with me, but still only he and only he is the Lord of my heart. So it's kind of like a little bit of same mentalities there.
Yes, thank you. And who's felt enthrallment in their particular service here at ISV? Yes? Yes. 2 back there, please pass the mic back.
mean, we always feel enthralled in our services because when we are doing our services, like for example, when we do Sunday school, like we are so involved with the Sunday school that it's what I understand from the definition is that as if it is by force, like you are having the enjoyment, but it's like it captures you by force. So the enjoyment of doing the service is such that even if you don't want to do it, you will miss it and you will want to come back and do it. So that's how we are so enthralled in our services.
Very good. Do you ever get an anxiety in your service, or is it always just complete bliss? Anyone?
I was just thinking, Prabhu, that with the enthrallment comes anxiety as well.
Yeah? Tell us about it.
I just missed being with the kids so much. So when I see them, I'm like so excited. And but there are times when you have to chastise them, or you have to tell them that you're not supposed to do this, and you're upset. You do get anxious because they don't follow directions all the time. So it goes both the ways. I mean, as far as Sunday school is concerned, as Mataji was mentioning. So I think all of us go through both at the same time. We can't we really want to do it again and again, but there's also anxiety going on with it.
Okay. So Prabhupada gets on a boat when he's nearly 70 years old, and he comes to America with no resources, no connections. This is a kind of enthrallment in the service of his spiritual master. So this is a meaning of meditation also, of this kind of enthrallment, is to be fully absorbed in the order one gets from one's spiritual master, and to be thinking about it 24 hours a day. Sometimes it may bring great happiness, other times there's anxiety. I know that in our Sankirtan department here, there's always anxiety, because we're increasing our goals continually and have been since the very beginning. And we're not sure exactly how we're going to reach them each time. And is there any kind of enthrallment or an anxiety in that? Do we feel a slave to reaching our goals? Say yes. Thank you. You have something to offer here. Go ahead.
I was remembering the example that it's like drinking a boiling hot sugar cane juice because it's sweet at the same time, but you can't stop drinking it even though you're getting burned by it. So.
Yes, and this is a description of Krishna's Leela. The separation that devotees feel is compared by Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami to simultaneously being given a poison and nectar at the same time. So there's a deep absorption through the process of devotional service. Now, something that's esoteric but also very practical at the same time. Just give me 1 second. In the first chapter, we get, I'm stalling, this verse by Kaviraj Goswami that describes the progression in the way that devotees worship Krishna. And it mentions the 3 main deities of Vrindavan. Could you please name them? Radha Madan Mohan and Radha Govinda, Radha Gopinatha. Okay, so Radha Madan Mohan, Radha Govinda, Radha Gopinatha. I'm going to read you a purport now from the first chapter of Adi Leela, text 19, and then we're going to sing this song. Could you show it to the Ramananda Saka to see if you can find it for us in the meantime? 18 Thakur Godi Jake Karyachena Atmasat. 18 Era Charara Vondon Tene Mornat. Could you please say it, the Bengali?
এই তিন ঠাকুর গৌরিয়াকে করিয়াছেন আত্মসাৎ, এ তিনের চরণ বন্দন তিনে মোর নাথ।
Okay. These 3 deities of Vrindavan, Madan Mohan, Govinda, and Gopinath, have absorbed the heart and soul of the Gaudiya Vaishnava, followers of Lord Chaitanya. I worship their lotus feet. for they are lords of my heart. Purport. The author of Sri Caitanya.Caritamrta offers his respectful obeisances unto the three deities of Vrindavan, named Sri Madan Mohan, Sri Radha Govindadev, and Sri Radha Govindaji, Gopinathji. These three deities are the life and soul of the Bengali Vaishnavas, or Gaudiya Vaishnavas, who have a natural aptitude for residing in Vrindavan. The Gaudiya Vaishnavas who follow strictly in the line of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu worship the divinity by chanting transcendental sounds meant to develop a sense of one's transcendental relationship with the Supreme Lord, a reciprocation of mellows, rasas, of mutual affection, and ultimately the achievement of the desired success in loving service. These three deities are worshipped in three different stages of one's development. The followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu scrupulously follow these principles of approach. Is everyone okay? Keep going. Gaudiya Vaishnavas perceive the ultimate objective in Vedic hymns composed of 18 transcendental letters that adore Krishna as Madan Mohan, Govinda, and Gopi Jana Ballabha. Madan Mohan is he who charms Cupid, the god of love. Govinda is he who pleases the senses and the cows, and Gopi Jana Ballabha is the transcendental lover of the gopis. Krishna himself is called Madan Mohan, Govinda, Gopi Jana Ballabha, and countless other names as he plays in his different pastimes with his devotees. Who would tell us what's being referred to here as the 18 transcendental letters that adore Krishna as Madan Mohan, Govinda, and Gopinath? Is that a question or a statement? Give him the mic.
Is that the Gayatri Mantra, Prabhuji?
Well, yeah.
The Hare Krishna Mahamantra.
But it's our Sampradaya mantra that we receive, right?
It's in the Brahma Samhita, is that the one?
It's in the Brahma Samhita, yeah.
The one that Brahma.
But don't tell anybody,
Yeah.
because it's secret. Can you say anything more about the mantras, the esoteric mantras?
So these mantras are passed down from spiritual master to disciple, and they have the potency. Each of the mantras has its own sambandha, abhideya, and prayojana. So each mantra has certain sections that call out for the three deities, and that's how each of these Gayatri mantras have Madan Mohan, Govinda, and Gopinath, who are the sambandha, abhideya, and prayojana deities for our life.
Thank you very much. Do you have more to say? You were going to say more.
No, I was just referring to that mantra, that how the three names come in that. So Sachinandan Swami's book, he explains that.
Tasya Saraswati, Kama Krishnaya Govinda, He Gopijana Itipi, Vallabhaya Priyavanir, Mantram Te Dasati Priyam, Tapastam Tapa Etena, Tava Siddhir Bhavishyati. By chanting these mantras, Divya Saraswati comes before Brahma and says, take this mantra. And then we hear that by this chanting of the mantra, one will attain all perfection. Where else do we hear an elaborate story about how one attains perfection by adhering to this mantra? Gopakumar, where's that? Bhagavatam, yes. Just the mantra brings them all perfection. Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe Jaya Devara Prandana He Jaya Devara Prandana He Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava Radhe. Jaya Radha Madan Gopal, Radha Madana Gopal Radhe. Sita Nathir Prandhana Hai. Radha Madan Gopal, Radha Madan Gopal Radhe. Jaya Radha Govinda, Radha Govinda Radhe. Rupa Goswamir Prandana Hai. Radha Govinda, Radha Govinda Radhe. Jai Radha Madan Mohan, Radha Madan Mohan Radhe. Sanatanir Prandana Hai. Radha Madan Mohan, Radha Madan Mohan Radhe. Jaya Radha Gopinatha, Radha Gopinatha Radhe. Madhu Pandir Prandana Hai. Radha Gopinatha, Radha Gopinatha Radhe. Jaya Radha Damodara, Radha Damodara Radhe. Jiv Goswamir Prandana Hai. Jaya Radha Damodara, Radha Damodara Radhe. Jaya Radha Ramana, Radha Ramana Radhe. Gopal Bhaktir Prandana Hai. Jaya Radha Ramana, Radha Ramana Radhe. Jaya Radha Vinoda, Radha Vinoda Radhe. Lokanathir Pranana Hai. Jaya Radha Vinoda, Radha Vinoda Radhe. Jaya Radha Gokulananda, Radha Gokulananda Radhe. Vishwanathar Prandana He. Jai Radha Gokulananda, Radha Gokulananda Radhe. Jai Radha Giridhari, Radha Giridhari Radhe. Das Goswami Prandana Hai. Jaya Radha Giridhari, Radha Giridhari Radhe. Jaya Radha Giridhari, Radha Giridhari Radhe. Jai Radha Shama Sundar, Radha Shama Sundar Radhe. Shamanande Prandana Hai. Jai Radha Shama Sundar, Radha Shama Sundar Radhe. Banki Bihari. Jai Radha Banki Bihari, Radha Banki Bihari Radhe. Hari Dasa Prandana Hai. Jai Radha Banka Bihari, Radha Banka Bihari Radhe. Jai Radha Kanta, Radha Kanta Radhe. Vakreshwara Prandana Hai. Jai Radha Kanta, Radha Kanta Radhe. Jaya Gandharvika Giridhari, Gandharvika Giridhari Radhe. Saraswatir Prandana Hai. Jaya Radha, Jaya Gandharvika Giridhari, Gandharvika Giridhari Radhe. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur Premanande. And now we'll take some reflections. Anything that you heard today from the discussion or from the songs that's stuck in your mind you're taking away with you, please reflect it back.
So we have a blessings from His Grace Rameshwar Prabhu and
Jai Rameshwar Prabhu ki jai.
And he's giving his comment. How can any observe, not love, and be completely attracted to this community of devotees?
Rameshwar, was that from Rameshwar Prabhu?
Yeah.
Thank you very much for looking out for us and watching over us. He's very dear to Srila Prabhupada, one of his eternally famous servants who helped to expand Prabhupada's book distribution all over the world, great innovator, and fully dedicated to Srila Prabhupada throughout his life. So we thank him for looking in on us and giving us his auspicious glance and blessings. Hare
And
Krishna.
he has also one comment. Today's class, seeing Krishna as the ultimate cause of everything, as permeating everything, and seeing everything as non-different for Krishna himself is the perfect realization and vision to bring with you and to meditate on while performing public Sankirtan Yajna and transcendental book distribution. Thank you for this wonderful class.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Vaisesika Shiromani.
Thank you for singing this beautiful bhajan, Prabhu. This reminded of all the deities that we normally see in Vrindavan and Jaipur. I was reminded like how dear are these deities to these Vaishnavacharyas. Normally, I don't correlate that. Like last week, I was booking the hotels in Jaipur for our Kartik Yatra. I was thinking I was doing it more as a mechanical thing. But now I was thinking, wow, it's going to be so nice to go and see the deities who are so beloved of these, saintly devotees.
You're the Shivananda Sain. That's a really high service. I was thinking the other day when I was listening to the Caitanya.Caritamrta about Shivananda Sain and how what kind of services you take all the anxiety on yourself so all the other devotees can simply be fully absorbed. It's a really powerful service. And Joy, just mentioning Radha Govinda during Kartik, it's such. When you drive from Vrindavan up to Jaipur to see Radha Govinda, you never leave Vrindavan, because it's a long drive, and it used to be a really hard drive because there was potholes everywhere. And then you see him fixing it with a coffee can and a little bit of, tar or things like that. That's gonna take a millennium to fix the road doing it that way. But in any case, driving up there is still Jaya Radhe when you get up to. If you go to Delhi, on the other hand, you feel the energy drop. And when one becomes accustomed to the Dham, after some time you don't want to leave that environment, except to come back to preach Krishna consciousness. Because then you can internalize that feeling and take it to all the people of the world by following the order of the spiritual master. In fact, Prabhupada mentions that this is for the very advanced devotees, to be able to go out of the Dham and to maintain that mood, remembering Vrindavan all the time by widely preaching the glories of the Dham to others and bringing them closer. It's a great satisfaction in meeting people who have no connection to that vibration whatsoever, who are actually being stifled by the low vibration of the material world and taking it as nectar when it's actually poison, to interject into their lives the vibration of Sri Vrindavan Dham. Isn't that? Thanks for reminding us of Radha Govinda Kartik in Jaipur. That Mangal Artik is not to be missed. What you get there is utsahan. The feeling when going to Mangalartik, 5,000 people come to Mangalartik, and pushing you out of the way. I just know in that crowd there, I had a few slight moments where I thought, oh, okay, I get it. This is where I'm going to die. I'll be crushed. Of course, it wasn't that casual of a thought, but when it came, everyone was lunging towards the lamp. When the Pujari holds up the lamp, they don't pass it around like we do, every single person, but they just hold it out and everyone's, ah! You were going to say more.
Like last time when we went, the Mangalarti when we went, it was on Ekadashi day, so it was even more, lot of devotees over there, and it was so crowded, but it was so nice.
Yeah, people get into trance there. That song that I sang, Bhajare, hey, Radha Govinda Gopala, that comes from Jaipur. Ujjwala Shloka went there back in the 70s and recorded a lot of their songs, and also the way they do the Tulsi Puja and things like that, and brought it back to Chicago. So we used to sing those songs, but they were imported from the Jaipur devotees who were worshipping their Shri Shri Radha Govinda. Thank you. What else? 1, 2, 3.
It's amazing that behind every sentence in Srimad Bhagavatam, in all scriptures, it's how Srila Prabhupada, he puts its recitation from the scriptures. It's not something made up. And I remember that story that when somebody put bookmarks in every page with recitation, so it was twice bigger. Actually, that's so great. So
somebody
deep.
put bookmarks at every page?
Yeah, like in every purpose. Or
yeah.
And then.
Because what's not the bookmark, right? Is that what you mean?
Yes,
yeah,
I mean like bookmarks and with referral to certain parts in the scripture. So like when reading, and it gives more attention while reading. So nothing, everything, every word is very important.
Yes, this can be developed and should be developed. Those who have entered into this line, we're coming from a long line of great devotees, like as Radhika Raman Prabhu, who's coming again soon, had enlightened us about the scholarship of Srila Jiva Goswami and all the Goswamis. They go deeply within the scriptures. Nana Shastra Vichara Naika Nipano Shadharma Samstapako, specifically to establish this sampradaya. And we have to know all those things also. So we have to read very carefully from all the books, and we have to connect all the points together. So every day one should practice this. One should come together with other devotees or by oneself. You can also be studious. And read the books and also make all the connections. See where everything connects. And also you have to keep practicing. You have to keep practicing your verses, all the verses that you need to know. Of course, you'll never come to the end of it, but you should have the basics down. Like the 34, you should memorize the Gita, know the ISO.Upanishad, know the Upadeshamrita, all these verses. And the best way to do that is to constantly stay in touch with them. You can also make them visible. One way I've found is you can buy those big, huge Post-it notes, the gigantic ones that people use for seminars. What are those called? Gigantic Post-it notes? Yeah. They have sticky on the back. They're just like a huge Post-it note. You can write verses on there and stick it on your wall. And then when you're walking around in your office, in your house, you can see that. And you'll be able to remember those things. So constantly staying in touch. Yes?
Thank you very much for the class, Maharaj. I'm totally enthralled by it. So I like the point about absolute truth and relative truth, and how the relative truth is dependent on the absolute truth. Absolute truth is compared to the sun. Relative truth is darkness, and as well as the reflection of the sun. So all the comparisons, that was really, it struck me very much.
What a complete philosophy, right? And then we heard that from the purport of the invocation of the Sri Upanishad, that all forms of incompleteness are experienced due to incomplete knowledge of the complete whole. And this is a panacea because we have complete knowledge. There are other philosophies around the world that teach about God, and they're meritorious, all of them. However, when you have a complete explanation including all the aspects leading to the ultimate aspect of Bhagavan, and describing Bhagavan in minute detail, who's called Uttama Shloka, he's described in choice verses. Then you have something that gives you complete knowledge of the complete whole, and therefore complete satisfaction. Yes?
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj, welcome back.
Thank you.
I really like the point where Lord Krishna gave message to Brahmaji and saying that, anything you see which is not connected to me is simply a fake out, basically. So I was wondering, in this material world, we see all these things. And by this message, now we understand that this is all fake out and people are just bewildered by the, illusory energy. So
yeah, even the demigods, as said in the first verse of the Bhagavatam, that even the devas are bewildered by this illusory energy. And Krishna is controlling the whole thing. So show that first verse of the Bhagavatam. Janmadya sayaton vayad itaratash charte shvabignaha swarat. Teni brahma hrida ya adikavaye huhyanti yatsureha. So that verse, adikavaye huhyanti yatsureha. Sureha means the demigods, and huhyanti means they're bewildered. So the energy through which even the great demigods like Lord Brahma become bewildered. He tried to impose his mystic power upon Krishna, and Krishna then showed him his unlimited power, thus bewildering Brahma, who became very humble. Yes? That's in the Brahma Vimohana Lila.
Prabhuji, we sang this song with so many deities' name. So I had one question on that. Can I ask?
Okay.
So I was wondering what could be the purpose of having so many deities with different names, and then having a particular feature. I mean, not a feature, but a purpose attached to them, like Madan Mohan being the Abhideya, Prayojana, Sambandha.
Actually, as Prabhupada describes in the third canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, relationship to the discussion, Vidura, Uddhava and Vidura, Maitreya and Vidura, that the various manifestations of the Lord are there to reciprocate the particular way in which the devotee worships the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Ye yatamam prapadyante, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, according to your surrender to me, then I manifest myself accordingly, or I reciprocate accordingly. And according to Prabhupada in his description, actually it's in the section where Vidura is traveling, he goes on pilgrimage because he came to a breaking point at home where he could no longer tolerate living at home, and he took it as Krishna's arrangement to go on pilgrimage. And in the pilgrim's journey, he went and saw all these different deities of the Lord, and Prabhupada explains there in a purport that the Lord manifests himself according to the individual desire of the devotee to worship him in a particular way. And this is elaborated upon in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. There's a way in which when devotees make advancement through the process of starting with faith and then association with devotees and then taking up the vrat, becoming initiated, and then going through anartha nivritti, and then coming to nishta, and then ruchi, and the stages beginning with nishta, one then and then ruchi, one may then detect a particular way in which one wants to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and this is actually coming from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but the devotee takes it that it's coming from his or her own intelligence. And that's their predilection in the way that they like to worship. But Krishna wants to be served by the devotee in a particular way. The devotee then, that desire grows within the devotee, but Krishna manifests in various ways. So we see that there are devotees there are deities everywhere. These are actually manifest from the heart of the devotee. For instance, if we look everywhere, we'll see in Laguna Beach, California, in Berkeley, here in Silicon Valley, in Los Angeles, San Diego, there are San Francisco, and coming up soon in San Francisco, there are various manifestations of the Lord in a very intimate way. Nikunja yuno. These are little kunjas. If you look in here, like what's in there, people may be driving back and forth to work and looking at cubicles all day, and it's like, I wonder what's in that place in there. If you tiptoe in here and peek around the corner, you'll see a little kunj. This is a kunj where Radha and Krishna are having their pastimes. How did this get here? It's from the heart of Srila Prabhupada. He manifests this because he has pure devotion. Therefore, the deity then comes to reciprocate. So therefore, along with all these deities that you hear about in this song, then you hear Jiva Goswami, then you hear Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So the pure devotee then manifests these, and their worship is going on demonstratively, and then everyone else can benefit from that. And there's a progression in the worship, and therefore there's a way in which that one approaches the various forms of Krishna at the various stages of one's advancement. And that's all we have time for today, but that doesn't mean we have to stop having Krishna Katha. We can just go on to the next level, right? And in this way, we can follow Srila Rupa Goswami's advice to organize life around the principle of constantly hearing and chanting about Krishna. Whether you're going to work or you're going to the temple, either way you can stay in contact with Krishna. And we thank everybody this morning for joining us on the internet. All of you who have come here to as part of the live studio audience here at ISV. Let's turn to the cameras and say Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna! Thank you very much. And now we're going to have a Guru Puja. We're going to worship the founder Acharya of ISKCON, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, in a grand ceremony where we offer flowers and a particularly selected song, Guru Vandana. And then after that we'll have kirtan and prasad for everybody in Silicon Valley. Whether everyone comes or not, that's their choice, but we're ready for them at any time. Thank you very much. Nitai Gaura Haribo. Haribo, Haribo, Nitai Gaura Haribo, Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo. Vanchakalpadurvascha kripasnaveva patitanam bhavanibhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha nandakoti vaishnavinniki jai.
Marman, Natari Marman, Natari Marman, Natari Marman, hey, Natari Marman, Natari Marman, Natari Marman, Natari Marman.